Welcome back to the Ponca City Monthly podcast. I'm your host, Andy. And, we're in the first of the new year. I even though we're in February, I still feel like it's part of the first of the new year. And as I head into the first of the new year, I think about all the new things I want to do and the changes I want to make. I'm not really a resolution person, because I think those are kind of outdated and sort of silly. But in my head, I sort of plan for new things that I'm going to be doing this year. And one of those, if you're one of those people, maybe you're thinking about this year is going to be the year that you start a new career or change jobs. And if that's the case, there are plenty of places here in Ponca City that can help you with that. But one of them is Work Ready, Oklahoma. And I have Dondi with us today from Work Ready to talk a little bit about what the new year may look like for you if you're ready to switch jobs. Dondi, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Great. So tell me a little bit about Work Ready and what you guys do and sort of how it got started here in Ponca City.
Okay, so Work Ready Oklahoma has 22 sites across the state. The Ponca City location is a program embedded in Pioneer Technology Center. And I love that, we are a great resource in the community, a long-time standing partner of furthering education. What we like to do at Work Ready is help people find, get, and keep the right job. And sometimes that means how can you increase your skill set to be more employable? So Work Ready across the state is helping remove barriers to employment. Whether that is interviewing skills, whether that is increasing your skill set, or we actually have financial support for the job seeker to help remove that roadblock that is making you maybe less desirable as an employee. So can we help you dress for success? Can we help you make sure that you have or can attain reliable transportation? That it's not just about getting the job, but how can you keep the job in our community?
Yeah, that's a very important thing. So when students are going to Pioneer Tech, you're kind of if you've been in the college scene and the trade scene, then you know that there's always that they promise a job when you get out. So is that kind of like what you guys do? Is you sort of help that bridge that gap there?
I like to say we're not a placement agency, and I want to empower each job seeker to say, what job do you want? Because we are going to give you the tools to get the job that you want, okay, as long as you are not your own roadblock. And being a lover of all job seekers, if you are a person with a little glitch in your background, maybe you're missing some of the certifications, that should be the only reason you're not getting a position. If it's interviewing skills, if it's confidence, if it's looking the part, we will help you know how to bridge that gap. So I like when people say, well, what job are you going to help me get? And I'll say, well, what job do you want? Because I'm going to teach you how to get it for yourself.
Sure. And I think, when you're starting out in your career, that's a question that's easy to answer. What job do you want? Oh, I want a job that pays a lot of money and I get a lot of time off, But as you get older, that question becomes a lot deeper and a lot harder to answer of like, what do you want to do? What makes you happy? So what kind of advice, how do you steer people? How do you help them find what makes them happy?
Yes. So our workshop is offered one full week each month. And on Tuesday and Wednesday of the workshop, we do card sorts. That's, what are your top selling skill sets? I don't know. So we give you a deck of 52 cards that have the most typical skill sets. So it helps people put words to action. And I love whether it is a 20-year-old job seeker, whether it's a 60-year-old job seeker that's ready to shift gears into something else. It is fun for them to see their vast skill sets and also how they are cross-selling skill sets. So we don't just ask the question, we teach them how to answer it, and we practice it so many times throughout the week that they know, why should I hire you?
Yeah. One of the things you talked about was interviewing skills. How do you guys help with that?
In today's world, if you haven't been on the job search for a few years, there's been some changes. So often you cannot get a job if you do not apply online and be open or have the ability to interview online. So in our workshop, we do peer interviews, we do panel interviews, we record them on their own cell phone. We don't critique that at that moment. We send it home for them to critique themselves. And we also do like a Zoom style interview in the entire classroom. So it's nerve-wracking for that participant in our class, but we make it lighthearted. I say we are not the class that says sit up straight and get your pencil out. We say interact with your neighbors, rub elbows, laugh with each other. Because if you can't make light on yesterday's shortfall being today's sharpened skills, you're not ready to work. We want you to be work ready. We want you to have fun finding that job that you're looking for.
Yeah. Donnie, it seems to me like you really like this and like this kind of industry that you're in. How did you find how did you find that this was what made you happy?
I think I got lucky. My job history is actually in mental health case management. And I think at the core of that was teaching people the resources in our community to meet their goals. And I've always been the person empowering someone that you should always be able to get what you want, assuming that what you want is in the better interest of everyone involved. I want you to be excited about going to work because I need every job in my community filled because I want those services to be available to myself and to others. So I think the short answer is helping others. The Work Ready program, we're a team of 5 with Pioneer Tech, and we are all eager to help people reach their goals. The job coaches are longtime teachers. We have someone that came from DHS, mental health. We have a good team of people that recognize the resources in our community to empower people to reach their goals.
Even though you're part of Pioneer Tech, anybody can walk up. It's open to anybody in Ponca City, right?
Yes. So the Work Ready Ponca City is located in City Central. The reason that I love the location, number one, it's a great place to be, but it is a little bit more open-minded to someone with some background situations, that we are free and open to every Oklahoma resident that is 18 or older. No questions asked. If you have a week, and I say we're free, we're fun. If you're not working, come hang out with us. You're going to get something out of it. So being in the City Central building offers a large enough footprint. We have to have room for 25 participants in our workshop. We usually, have 18 to 20 people in our class, which we love the individual care we can give to each participant. So yes, Work Ready across the state is for every Oklahoma resident 18 or older looking for career opportunity.
Okay, so they don't have to be in Ponca City. They could be from Blackwell, they could be from Newkirk, anywhere like that.
Yes, I love that clarifying question that when Work Ready Oklahoma was growing across the state, they tried to make things as streamlined as possible. Every employee's email address is our first name at WRO- the town that the office is in. Dondi at WRO-PoncaCity.com is how you would get a hold of me. Swap out those factors, name and location. But we help every Oklahoman. I don't care how you got to my office. I'm excited to see you.
Okay.
Countywide especially. And in my scouting area, Pioneer Tech has a larger footprint. It's not just in our county. So if you can get to the office, we will be glad to have you. Stillwater utilizes Work Ready Ponca City more so. The next closest location would be Enid or Tulsa.
Okay.
So they will not turn someone away. If you are living closer to Enid and by chance you want to work in the Ponca City community, we would not send you to Enid because that's closer. We will be happy to have you in our class. We do sometimes suggest that if you want to work in a certain community, utilize the Work Ready that is closest to that community because we have a network with our employment partners.
Okay.
One of the things that sets Work Ready apart, maybe from other employment opportunities, is that we have valid remote work opportunities. And we like to define that is that the jobs that we are wanting our participants to get are paying a livable wage, which is defined as $15 an hour or more with a pathway to benefits. One of the card sorts that we do helps people sort their desirable use of skill sets. And just because you can do something doesn't mean that you want to do something. And that's what leads to burnout or what I call job hopping. The magic of that card sort, when we do it with the classroom, we say that if you can get a job that is tapping into something that you fairly well like, but it has the growth to teach you to do something that you like but you're not yet good at, that's how a job turns into a career. And we want people to get employment with sustainable wages, benefits, and room for growth. If you can get an entry-level position knowing that you can climb the ladder, that is what the employer is looking for as well. It is so expensive to replace and train an employee. We also teach a lot of every participant that it's not about knowing how to do the job when you get there, it's about willingness to learn. Because an employer does not expect you to learn or to already know their computer system, their payroll system. Every company is running slightly different than their neighbor. So the best employee is the person that shows up on time, leaves their drama at home, and is willing to learn.
In the interviewing process, something that I have read a lot about recently, and I wanted to see how you're interacting with it and what's happening on your side. How is AI affecting the job? You know, if you send out a resume, the chances of a human reading it is pretty slim. And I think resumes themselves have changed over the years, you know?
Yes.
It seems like resume seems like something that should be solid and historic, and yet it has to evolve routinely, and that's weird for me.
It does have to evolve. And if you are applying through an online route, you need to really pay attention to the job description and have pieces of that job description sprinkled in your resume 3 times to beat the filter system.
Wow.
So my husband's a welder. I'll use that for an example. If he was applying for that, he would need to have welding or welder somewhere in his resume 3 times, which is likely to happen.
Sure.
But if you have a vast skill set and you're trying to shift gears in your career, you would really want to focus on the pieces that fit that puzzle. And we teach that. If you are using a large online option for your application route, we really suggest the cheat code, as we tease, that use that as a search engine, not necessarily an application route. If you can go directly to the company's website and apply, you've removed a filter. Yeah. Now, there are a lot of people, for great reasons, only use those online routes. Great. Then go back to that route.
Sure. So something that, you know, I tend to think that I'm a pretty smart person, but I got scammed through a job because I thought it was a reputable company. I went and I looked at their website. I looked up the person's name who was hiring me. And it wasn't until I sent them all of my information for onboarding that I realized I got scammed. So I think that's obviously that's a new thing that has come about in the last few years.
Yes, it's a scary and real thing. And a lot of people are desiring remote or work from home jobs, which is a piece that we are so proud of with WorkReady. If you get a job lead from WorkReady, it is legitimate.
Sure. So
legitimate, in fact, that we have a team in Oklahoma City that can track your application thanks to your email. And Joe Blow, at the end of that application route, we know someone that knows that guy that will be interviewing you.
Yeah, that's a huge thing.
Yes, I love it. We, especially as Christmas approached, we're getting calls. Hey, does this sound fishy? If it sounds fishy, don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, you know, after it all happened, that was what happened. I was like, well, they were offering a lot of money. But again, at my skill level, I didn't think anything weird about it. And then, Yeah, like I don't know what it was, but something clicked, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. And so,
I am sorry that you experienced that, and hopefully you got out unscathed.
yeah, totally, 100%. But yeah, so something that I was gonna ask you about is speaking of AI and the way it's changing the landscape of the work world. I feel that in the next few years, there's going to be a lot of us Gen Xers who are hunting for jobs. I've been in my career field for 30 years, and as the world changes, the graphic design industry is just sort of changing along with it. So what is your advice to people in the Gen Xers and the people like that are starting to maybe having to consider career shifts or complete career changes as the landscape is changing?
I think it's important to see AI as a tool.
Sure.
You need to embrace what it can do to better your life or more streamline your job description, and see if you can grow with that instead of be abrasive, the pushback to that. I am the least tech savvy in my office, and so I'm like, AI what? Oh man, that was nice. So I am glad it is slowly entering my a tool in my office. But that's where we go back to cross-selling skill sets. In our workshop, we talk about maybe a stay-at-home mom, maybe a graphic designer. You've done this for 20 years. You're needing to shift gears. What are the things that you love doing about your job, or that we call them superpowers? What are you really good at that can be good in a different sector?
Yeah. But, I think that's and you could probably talk well about this because of your background, but I think that's a mental shift, because for me, that's sort of where, for me, it's like, I just can't imagine myself doing something other than this because I devoted my entire life to it.
Yes. And it can be scary for people that if you love what you're doing, you don't want to change what you're doing.
Yeah. But yeah, freelancing and stuff like that was always a big part of what I did. And now those jobs, when you use the word AI, people immediately think of like the immediate like ChatGPT stuff like that. But they don't think about all the little tiny, like Canva. That's an AI program that changed the world of graphic design. I am not a gatekeeper. I never have been. I think everybody needs to learn graphic design skill sets, and I am happy to teach it. But, the expectation has changed. And I think that we're seeing some industries starting to shift, jobs that you just never thought, oh, that's not going to be a career anymore. All of a sudden now is like, oh, wow, those people don't have jobs.
Yes, and I'm sure I only know, the tip of the iceberg on that kind of living in our small town community, we have each other's backs. Like, oh, you're going to have to change jobs. Let me help you get a job.
Sure, yeah.
Networking is key. So I am probably not the best on knowing what do we need to prepare for today. It will sneak up on me.
Yeah, no, I don't think it will. You seem pretty like you're in the know of things, so I think you'll catch it.
I depend on a great team of people to keep me straight.
I think that's the important part, is that it's always a team of people that, pull all of this off and make it all happen. But something that some people can do right now is start attending your classes.
Yes.
And you have quite a few of them. You've got one. Now, the one that's coming up in February will probably be after or before this actually airs. I don't know I told you what date this was going to air, but I don't remember what it was. But do you have some in March that are going to come up?
Yes. Across the state, the Work Ready workshop is held 1 week a month.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter what location you're at, you're going to get the same lesson.
Yeah.
Our teachers are brought through Zoom, and they are amazingly interactive. I absolutely love the team that they have on camera, and then our site facilitators. So let me cheat by looking at my calendar.
Go ahead.
And of course, this is for any Oklahoman 18 or older looking for employment support. Our March workshop is the week after spring break, so it will be the 23rd through the 27th, and it's school. It's from 9 to 3:30. We are usually done a little before 3:30. If you need to scoot out for picking up your child after school, we are happy to make accommodations. But each month, that workshop is a 1 week period. attending our workshop with good attendance also allows us to help you with those, we call it barrier removals. What is standing between you and the job that you want? If it is short-term certification, we are happy to help you further your education to be more employable. So that 1 week commitment has to be done before we can scholarship those choices. And then we have a second week each month that we focus more on customer service certification and remote work certification. So if someone is coming to us and really interested in work from home jobs, we ask them to please plan for both weeks. When you spend the week with us, you end with the soft skills certification. And what that tells the employer, it's not rocket science, but we're teaching you the things like communication skills. We're not just telling you how to be a better employee, we're practicing with you on those better employee characteristics. How can you bring a troubling conversation to your supervisor and not get excused from the company, but grow with that? How can you, we have 3 keys. Can you do your part in being the better vibe in an office? We call it decide, don't slide. Decide on one thing that you can do differently moving forward to change the atmosphere in a more supportive way and making it safe to connect. And I bet we can all reflect on a time where there was maybe some water cooler talk, the mean girls thing at the office. Just try to be mindful about not joining in on that. Be the better workforce. And I love my community. And I said to my team, I can only imagine what we do for the workforce if we get 150 people every year with a better mindset to just be kind.
So I'm a brand new person. I'm walking in the door the very first day. Tell me a little bit about what I'm going to experience as I come in.
Okay, so Monday we have a very quick enrollment form that just kind of gives us a little demographics about each participant. Monday and Tuesday are very heavy worksheets days. We are building your resume, building what we call a master application, because we have 2 ladies that write your professional resume so that we can be more hands-on on all the other things versus just typing your information. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're putting hands on those soft skill opportunities. That how are we working on your communication danger signs? How are we doing better with what we call the speaker-listener technique? Are you participating in a conversation to respond, or are you actually exchanging and participating? Are you there when you're visiting with someone sitting across from you? And we're all guilty, phones in our hands, 100 other conversations in our heads, that it's hard to be present. And so we really practice that. We have acronyms and math equations to make it fun, like the PAR story, the XYZ, to say, hey, I appreciate that you invited me in today so that I could talk about my program instead of saying, hey, thanks. Been nice.
Yeah.
If you make it more personable, you learn how to leave drama out of the workforce, but build relationship. And that's sometimes hard to just tell someone without also practicing. And we do it and we do it and we do it for 3 days. And we laugh through it. Sometimes we cry through it, and that is perfectly fine. It's a big investment. While my program across the state is free for you to attend, it's very expensive on your time. You are spending 9 to 3:30 for 5 days hanging out with a bunch of ladies talking about getting a job. But I hate to waste people's time or money. And I love that regardless of what walk of life the participant is in while they're in our class, they leave with more hope and confidence, knowing that they really can go get the job that they want. And we talk about statistics. We want to be cost responsible and make sure that our program continues to grow across the state. And if you are a fully engaged person, which I feel like that's a subjective statement. I'm a statistics person. Most of them are made up. But if you are honestly in our class investing in your employability, 88% of people who are fully invested in seeking a job land the job they want. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Because that's not even accounting for the people that came for short-term certification, and they're not even ready to be part of that statistic. I love it.
What do you do to recruit people, I guess? Because not everybody's going to just walk through the door.
That's
How do you, because you said you have to sort of, or you mentioned that you reach around 150 people a year. How do you find those people? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people job hunting, but
yes.
How do you get those people in the door?
We joked, there's only 150, there's only so many people in town.
Sure.
But we do a lot of media advertising. Social media, thank goodness, is a good way to get our word out. Our funding source, we are a tax-funded program through DHS, and so they're a great referral source as well. We do, and you've probably seen, thank you, and sorry, all of the remote work info sessions. Come to our remote work info session. That is a 1-hour kind of crash course. It gives you a chance to see the classroom, to meet the staff. That's our recruiting event.
Okay.
Again, it's completely free. You walk out the door with 3 or 4 links to the companies we work with. So you are actually having an opportunity to get your own remote work employment after you leave our 1-hour info session. But you're learning, like, what does the classroom setup look like? What is my expectation? And I love when someone comes to class or to the info session, they don't even realize that we could also potentially financially invest in their employability. So it's fun to think, oh, you can help me get my CNA. You can help me get my CDL. All of these acronyms that equate to more employability.
Yeah.
And being a Pioneer Tech program, our communication is wide open as far as here's our course catalog. What looks like something you've always wanted to do? And we love exploring possibilities. And we are not specific to the short-term certification being a Pioneer Tech class. It can be online. It can be anywhere in the state. We sent someone to a wind energy program in El Reno, and success there. But back to your original question. We are happy to get anyone to walk in our door. Sure. Word of mouth is social media, and because my friend said so, are our primary referral sources. And it's nice to see people raise their hand and say, I have a friend that was here. Yeah. And they either got the remote job that they were hoping for, or they got a local lead that was better than they would have ever imagined.
Yeah.
Every person walks out with hope and excitement for employability.
And that's the important part.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, you said before we got started with the podcast, you mentioned about there being 2 big events every year. Tell me a little bit about those events.
Yes. Across the state, we're contracted to do 2 large work job fairs, and we call them Worklahoma. It's a high energy opportunity to not only say thank you to our employment partners, but also connect those job seekers with the local community. So May 7th is our upcoming Worklahoma Job Fair. It is held in the conference center at Pioneer Tech. Open to everyone.
Okay. So
come by and say hi.
You don't have to have gone through a class. Anybody can show up for that.
Yes. Okay. It's a job fair.
Sure.
And the high energy piece to that is that we have door prizes, there's music, there's headshot photography. So please come by and see us on May 7th. It's from 10 to 2. And see if you can win a good door prize and a new job.
All right, Dondi, thank you so much for joining with us and talking with us a little bit about Work Ready Oklahoma. You guys, your website is
workreadyoklahoma.com. Mm-hmm. You can reach our Ponca City office at 718-4237, or we are in the City Central Building, Suite 307. We're open 8 to 4. You can just stop by and say hi. You can join an info session. If none of those things work with your schedule and you just know you can commit to class, show up Monday morning of whatever workshop month we're in, and join us. we've got a spot for you.
Right. Fantastic. Donnie, thank you so much for joining us. And you guys have a great week and see you back next week. Thank you.